Buy me a new pair. Where are my three buttons?
I ain't buying nothing.
We're live, ladies
We're
and
not
gentlemen.
live.
We are totally live. Welcome to another episode of Market Overdrive. I am your host, residential real estate broker with Coldwell Banker. My name is Karla Mina, and you can find me here every Thursday starting at 2 p.m. I want to thank all our friends who are hanging out with us on Facebook and, of course, are following us on social media. With me, as every Thursday, I have the pleasure of spending some quality time with my best friend and colleague, Mr. Nick Memeti. I told you not to do that.
Ha! I did it anyways. It's a celebration today.
Nick,
I'm celebrating today, seriously.
what are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating the return of the Mac. Not every show has to be super serious. I mean, we will get to the topic. We will discuss what we're discussing today. We'll show you how to save some money when you buy your house. But the bottom line is sometimes you can just have fun with what you're
What happens if it
doing.
starts raining in here because of that? Like water
If it
everywhere.
rains, how awesome would that be? I totally put the studio on fire.
Okay, you're talking
Let's
about
get
putting the
into-
studio on fire.
let's
Other people are
get into
talking
the
about
reason-
VIP parking. And
Let's get into the reason why we're celebrating. I'm going to introduce our guest. Well,
you're going to skip right through our
I'm going to
other
skip right through
co-hosts?
dude. I'm going to go
Dude's
straight
here,
to
everybody.
I'm going to go straight to who's important. I'll get to Graco later. Graco Funes of iLoan, I will get to him later.
What's
But
up, everybody?
today, special in our studio after almost 18 months.
You counted?
It's at least 18 months. 18 months.
Damn.
Long awaited return of the Mac. My good friend,
Are you sure?
stomping all the way in from
Stomping?
the western suburbs, Coldwell Banker, the lovely, a.k.a. Diva,
The beautiful.
a.k.a. Mimi Luna. How you doing, girlfriend?
How you doing?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Did you miss us?
Totally, always.
How do you like our new digs? Look at us, we're fancy
I like
now.
it. We're fancy. Finally up to
Right.
the diva standards.
All right,
That's
all
why to come back.
That's what she left the other show. That's what WGN stands for.
right, right.
What?
We got nice stuff.
We got nice
We
stuff.
got nice
I
stuff.
like nice
We
stuff.
got nice radio.
I think I should leave. I think you and Mimi should carry the show today. It's totally not
Well,
like
it's either me
Carla's
and Mimi
standard.
or just Graco by himself.
Which I think
Oh,
what happened with
that would
Graco's
be
by
kinda-
himself, right?
You're so mean.
We should all just leave.
All right.
All right, let's get in it with me.
So what are we doing today?
Hey, Graco, I'm not feeling well today. Can you carry the show
I
for us?
got you, baby.
Okay.
I got you.
He's just
Yeah.
point this way.
Can I get
Today's-
a little mic volume here,
Mimi,
please?
Mimi, it's been 18 months and you feel like you're part of the, well, you are part of the family, as we all know. We hang out outside of,
Originals.
you are one of the original old school OG Mod Squad. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we have new viewers, new listeners, and a whole new audience since the last time you've been on the air. So unfortunately and fortunately, we're going to have to get everybody acquainted with who you are, how long you've been doing it, the whole 9 yards. So tell us a little bit about yourself that we don't already know and that our listeners and our viewers might want to know.
Okay, so 10 years in the industry. I did loans, did title, did everything. 4 years selling real estate, and it's been amazing. From the western suburbs, Coldwell Banker, LaGrange. I don't like that we don't have valet parking here.
Oh,
She's already demanding
leave it to a
stuff.
diva.
Right. So top producer, western suburbs,
Coldwell Banker.
Coldwell Banker.
10 years overall in the business, a mix between mortgages, title, and of course now most recently the
Yeah,
last
so
5 years selling it.
multifaceted, right? I know all the angles.
All the angles,
Yes.
except for I-10 borrowers.
That's
when
why
you-
they go
that's
to
when
you.
call
That's why
me.
they go to you. Yes.
And I'm like, I
And
got
you're
you.
like, I got you.
I got you. Very cool. And how's things been going on in the western suburbs? You just came off of a high season. Business is good. Property's moving.
Business is really good. Properties move fast in the
Yeah.
western suburbs.
Is there still an inventory problem out that way?
Yeah, there is. There's not much on the market, and everything that comes on goes really fast.
So this epidemic for all those that are watching, is nationwide. It doesn't matter if you're in a city or in the suburbs. We have the same problem because Karla, with Coldwell Banker as well, has been complaining about that as well. Inventory, right?
Always.
Carla's always complaining.
Good job, Graco. Always. She shook her head. That's it.
That's
You
my
like
line.
that? You like that?
Always. Always. All right. All right.
The one answer. All right, guys. Now that we're acquainted with the diva, today's topic is how to, get the best deal with the Mod Squad, and we're going to share with you 3 tips as to how to leverage today's market in order to get the best deal. I know that some of our first-time buyers are always looking for, I want to buy or I don't want to buy, but when I do decide to buy, I always want to get the best deal, and that's why we brought in Mimi in the studio so she can, give us the scoop. What are your 3 secrets? Start with the first one.
Just give us one at a time. Don't jump to all 3 of them.
Okay, so
We're
one
going
at
to have
a
a little
time.
fluff in the middle of this.
Okay, I like fluff.
All right.
So,
You a fluffer?
I'm a fluffer.
Okay.
Wait, what's the
No.
fluffer?
Can we focus?
I'll be whatever you want me to be. Anyways, back to the show.
What's number
I
one?
think it's really important to be super solid on your lending, because when you go in and put an offer in and you say my buyer is completely taxes seen, everything, no hiccups, no way it's going to fall out. They're super solid. So that's one of them.
Okay, Nick,
So-
what's your thought? What are your thoughts?
What
on
are
that?
your
I mean,
thoughts, lender?
obviously, we're going to champion on that one and say that is the
Yeah.
most important thing you need in order to get the lowest price
Agree.
possible.
I agree.
So you're saying essentially, if you're coming in outside of the term cash is
King.
about as it is king, and solid financing is prince.
Right.
Oh, look at that, we get to be prince.
I don't think that you're competing with cash buyers these days, though. I think the market is pretty stable where cash buyers don't have any opportunities because they're looking for opportunities to buy things that are in as-is condition. That's why they're leveraged their cash. But if you're looking for a step-up buyer, they're going to be looking to finance a purchase, and so it's just a lack of inventory. So I would say, yeah, you want to have your financing in place so you can get the best deals. But quite frankly, I think number one should be where you can find the best deals. If you look at any project that has been flipped, any new construction or flip project that's still on the market, anything that's set on the market for more than 30 days, those are your desperate sellers right now. Because as you know, Nick, you flipped in the this year as well. Once you're on the market for 30 to 60 days, you're overwhelmed, right? Because you want to get your money out and you want to move on to the next project.
Well, did we just throw one behind two and two in front of
Yeah.
one?
I didn't like her one
We did.
because she gave.
But we just gave away 1 and 2, and we're only 5
But
minutes into
how
the
do
show.
you
I didn't
like
give
my
number
one
two.
if
It's
you
her
have
one,
to have
though.
the muscle? You have to have you got to be super solid.
My
to go
lender
in. You have to.
approvals are.
We're going to go back to that. Let's discuss, since she opened it with one of them. We're not saying that one is more important than the other. Let's just say these are 3 most important things.
Right.
How's that?
Right.
These are
All right.
Mimi's most important.
These are
by the
Mimi's
way.
most important things. But I agree with Karla,
Karla's
which I don't like
I'm not
to do.
trying to do the
I don't like to do
Carla
very
or
often.
Mimi's important.
No, but
I'm
let's just
saying-
keep an order on one. Let's just
You see,
dissect
Mimi,
one
you see
for.
what
The
happens
Mac
when you
is
come
back,
in?
boo.
Let's
Can I-
dissect.
okay, I'm
let's
done.
dissect one at a time.
Mimi's here.
So that,
Let her take over.
that everybody understands why we're going after each one of these things in particular. I agree with both points.
Of course you do, because you're a
but,
lender.
But
No, but that is important to your seller to know that this isn't going to fall out.
Yeah.
How many lenders give pre-approvals and don't look at
That
anything?
suck.
None of mine.
They
Yeah.
do nothing.
there's lenders that actually just look at a credit report still and go down the road of what used to be called pre-qual.
Right, right.
And they're
I
not
had a
real
lender-
pre-approvals,
I had a
so-
lender tell me it was a 50-50 chance. I don't want to take that deal.
What does that mean?
Right. What does that
We're
mean?
not flipping coins here, homie.
I know. I'm not even going to call out the
So,
lender. But
so you're saying that by going in with a rock solid approval with a reputable investor
and a reputable agent.
and
you
or at
can
least the
get
connection
stuff
between
done.
the agent, the seller's agent, knowing that the lender's reputable, or knows
Right.
the loan officer in
and
particular,
knows the relationship, knows I get stuff done.
this puts you in the favor
Right.
of using your negotiating tools at their fullest. It
Right.
doesn't leave a seller. You're saying because a seller could sit there and say, well, since we're not sure, and we might be tying up our house for a little while, and we might end up with a denial at the end, let's tack on a few extra thousand, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. Scary.
Lender's huge. How many times have you been at the side of the seller side, Karla, and you receive a pre-approval from a lender that you don't know? So when that seller is actually visualizing and seeing the loan officer's name that they've worked with before
Are
in the
you
past,
kidding me
or
right
the
now?
institution that they've worked with before in the past,
It
and it was
doesn't
smooth, they're more
matter.
inclined to take
No,
that
but
offer.
it does.
I don't.
Especially
I don't. I
necessarily
want to
think-
rewind that.
Okay,
for a
can I
second.
go
think
back and package
institutions-
that?
Let me just touch the lender thing, and you can move on. Seriously.
right, go ahead.
I don't think it's. I do agree that a known institution helps, but no matter how big the institution is, they have bad reputations too.
Agree.
So, for example, you could be the number one, and I'm not going to mention their name, or the number two lender in the country, and for every good big-time commercial and their known volume of business, they have horror stories, and a lot more than the average lender because they're so big. So, I think it's more what I think Mimi's referencing, and I know that you have great lenders to fall on. One you've used forever, and obviously use us as well if you need to.
Yes.
But the reality is that it has a lot to do with what kind of loan are they doing? How much are they putting down? Is some of the details in that pre-approval,
Right.
not necessarily
the muscle. You need the
right.
muscle, right?
not necessarily it's from a good lender, because there's loans that are hard. Like some of these down payment assistance programs are tough. No matter how good of a lender you are, things could come up.
And in where I'm from, we have a lot of bidding wars, right? Because there isn't a lot of inventory on the market. So when you come in strong and you come in with someone that they've always seen your approvals and that it gets done, they respect that, right?
Well, I can
That's what I
package
mean.
that a little bit different, though, right? Because we're talking about like 3 secrets to get you the best deal in today's market, Mimi. So what I'm hearing you say is that you have a solid pre-approval, but at the end of the day, we're the soldiers in the field. We're the ones making the representation for you as lenders, and I don't care whose name is on that pre-approval. If I make a phone call, if I turn in an offer, that realtor is going to know that they're working with Karla, and my name goes on that contract.
I
And
feel
so
the same way.
when
Sorry
they
to cut
see-
you off, but I do feel the same way. When my name is on that pre-approval,
I know that's
and
where
the
you were
seller
going.
sees
Grok,
it,
tell her, Grok,
they
tell
know
her,
that
right.
We're not going to do this thing about which one of us is greater.
No, it's not about what's greater, Nick. But at the end of the day, it's like we're negotiating the deal. And so if somebody knows that I'm going to go above and beyond, so work with a realtor that's reputable, a realtor that has a network,
Right.
and a realtor that knows what they're doing so they can get the deal done.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to win any bidding war, because you're going to
Agreed.
showcase your awesome with, in the multiple bidding situation. And yes, if you have a track record of someone who works with lenders that don't get their stuff done, realtor's going to be like, oh God, here she comes again, making an offer on another of my listings, and her stuff is not pre-approved, it's not solid. So I can see that, but I mean, I think that's just part of like the whole package of what we do as realtors. Don't you agree? No? I'm
Well,
off?
there's some people who don't like to use your trusted partner. So then what do?
Because they're working with me. So if I know that I can get the deal from inception to closing, then they're going to work with me, and they're going to understand that my I'm not going to waste my time showing a property
I
or
agree.
working with buyers who are not pre-approved. And I mean, what do I do when I call you, Graco? Make sure that they're pre-approved, run all their numbers. I won't go out with them until he says go for it, because if he doesn't
And
say
see,
go
and a
for
lot
it,
of buyers
it's a waste
don't
of
know
time.
that though, right?
Right, so that's what we're saying. We're giving you, secrets to the, secrets to get your offers accepted, and also, how to get the best deal. And if you are going to get the best deal if you're working with the realtor that people trust and want to work with, because they're going to give you the actual the negotiations, the offer. They're going to give you the deal.
But here's another take to touch on what Mimi said. Have your lender or have a solid lender. 90% of my agents, 90% of the seller's agents are calling me for me to validate that pre-approval letter. Tell me a little bit about, the borrower without me giving too much detail, and I have to be able to touch on certain things to give them comfort and want to accept that offer. So it's
Yeah, I
very
had you
important.
do that before as well. I mean, for NAX, you called the realtor, and she called you directly, and she called you twice because she wanted to make sure that that my buyer was going to be able to buy. But what did I do? I saw the property that Sunday. We submitted the offer that Sunday night. By Monday, I was already negotiating, and I had you submit all the documents within one day to make sure that we got that pre-approval. So I guess in essence, I do understand that you have to have a solid pre-approval because as a listing agent, that's what I'm going to be
That's
looking
what we're
for.
looking for, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, we're talking about more expensive homes. They won't even let you walk in the door without proof of financing and proof of assets.
Right.
So if you're going to look at a $2 million home in the suburbs of Chicago, that's a lot of money. Maybe not in Malibu, but you can't even get in to see it.
Can we go to Malibu though?
We can go wherever you want. You can't even get in to see it without showing
I
your
miss
muscle,
you.
as Mimi would say.
You know what it is? It's annoying because you're always just being nice to him, and it's really annoying.
She's just jealous, baby. It's okay.
Can we
I
go
don't
to
know. Can I
Malibu?
leave? Can I go to my? Seriously, why would you even want to spend
She's got
any
a
more
thing
than
for
45
Knicks.
minutes?
I got a thing for Nick.
She got things for Knicks.
All right, moving on. The
All right, let's
second.
go to
Can we
number
move
two.
to number
What's gonna
two?
be number two there?
Well, number 2, Karla
Thank you.
started off with searching for properties that are, sometimes it's like going to discount
Stagnant.
stores. If they've been sitting around, they get cheaper. And you might find a much better deal by a house that's sat around for whatever odd reason. I think at some point, sellers start to, admit
Desperate.
to where they stand in the marketplace for whatever reason. So if you have a house, from what I've seen, let's take a neighborhood that has the same type of house, if you will. They're the same square footage, same amount of bedrooms, and everything's pretty uniformed. It almost seems like they made them out of Legos, everything. But your house isn't moving and everything else is moved. Maybe it's time for you to admit you're outdated. Maybe it's time for admit to yourself that you needed work. Just because everything sold for, let's say, $300,000 and yours on the market for $300,000, but it's the only one standing after 4 months. As a buyer, you might have yourself a deal, a really good deal, right?
I mean, I totally agree with that. And I know that you're talking more so of the conventional seller, that's selling their own property. But I want to encourage buyers who are looking for good deals and want properties that are turnkey. Like, seriously, fourth quarter right now is the best time. Because what happened is the seller, right, bought this property. They bought it cash. They decided to rehab it, and they were going to bring it on the market. But the city or wherever, the county didn't give them any permits. And so there was delay in bringing that property back on the market during the summer, summer market. So now post July, August, if they're still sitting, I encourage you to go see that property. Even if it's $25,000 to $50,000 above your price point, I highly encourage you to go see that property because it may become in your price point at this point because they're so motivated to sell, right? Investors want to go in, rehab the property and sell it and get their cash out so they can go and move on to the next project. So the carrying cost is pretty high because now they're going to have to pay for utilities, heat, and or gas, whatever. So that's going to be more expensive for them to carry this product, and they want to liquidate assets. They want to get rid of it. I think it's a great opportunity for buyers who are looking for turnkey products.
Did you just throw us a number 3?
How is that number 3?
Are we at a number 3?
That was number.
That was 2 again?
It was number 2 because you talked about conventional sellers who are
sounded
desperate.
like a whole different version of.
It was an extension of that, Nick.
An extension of 2.
Is that your
I'm just making sure. I want everyone to follow that we have one more thing coming.
We do have one
We
more thing
have one more
coming.
thing. Maybe we might even throw in a bonus thing
Wait
later.
a second. Was that Karla's number 2 or was that Mimi's number 2?
I think
Why
it's a
is there a
unilateral.
Karla
I think
Mimi
it's an
thing? I don't
office.
like it.
I think it's a group. It's a mod squad number 2, man. We're one universal problem
We're
right now.
a family,
We
okay?
are.
Regardless.
We're a
Familia.
mod squad thread.
We are 4 pimples on a cheek right now together.
That's so disgusting.
That's
That
not.
you didn't have
I'm
to
not a
take it
pimple
there.
boo.
No.
Sorry.
Jesus.
You like a black hat.
I'm leaving. I can't do this. I swear, I'm trying to be so professional. You are listening to Market Overdrive, and you're also
are
watching Market
professional.
Overdrive.
Yeah.
We're here every
like a
Thursday
commercial.
to give you information
commercial.
on how to leverage your real estate investment. I think number 1 was work with an amazing realtor that has somebody that's completely pre-approved by Graco because he's amazing. And always work with Mimi because she's amazing.
Right.
I think that's starting to get really, really loud. That's super, super loud.
Do you know what that noise is?
No, are we going to commercial?
That noise. That noise
I don't think we've made any sense today.
is the nitro question. And you are our guest today, even though you're not really a guest. You're just kind of like somebody coming home from college or something like that.
Right.
It's
But,
a homecoming.
but
Homecoming.
you get a
Can I be
nitro
queen?
question.
Craig, we didn't get the song. Return of the Mac.
And today's nitro question is brought to you by Oxy. On behalf of us 4 pimples. No, it's not brought to you by Oxy. I'm just kidding. We're gonna make it on behalf of Coldwell Banker, since Coldwell Banker is here.
No, it's the
in the
Diva
flesh.
Lux. What is it?
The
Lux
Lux
Group.
Group.
The
Yeah.
Lux Group at Coldwell
Get it
Banker.
together,
The Lux
Nick.
Group at Coldwell Banker.
Where's your head today?
We got to stay within, and honestly, Mimi, I didn't even think about a nitro question until right this second.
Uh-oh.
So I'm thinking we're gonna have to stay relevant in recent trends, recent topics, and
How often do you go
in
to
the news
movies?
we've been hearing quite
I'm
a
kind
bit.
of scared.
In the news,
Oh
we've
my
been
gosh,
hearing
Graco.
about quite a bit of stuff and some controversy. So we're gonna ask you a nitro question. Do you kneel or do you stand?
Think about that. Don't answer
I'm
it
talking about the national anthem, you sicko.
Oh, thank you.
There's been a lot of controversy
I was
between
really
the president.
gonna run with that one.
Right.
Yeah.
No, don't answer it like that. There's been a lot of controversy with the president going, and it's a sensitive topic across the country. So I figured we'd give you something hard that you're willing to tackle. It's a hard one,
yet. We need a commercial.
Love
and
it.
you need to tackle this one.
Love it.
And you'll be all over it.
I tackle
So-
all the hard ones.
okay.
So go ahead.
So, do you kneel?
I'm done.
Do
I'm
you
so
kneel?
done.
And for the
So
record,
done.
we all know you have a minority descent. You're not 100% Caucasian, so we don't
Not
have
at
to do all
all,
that weird thing.
Right?
You know what, Nick? You're seriously getting out of line.
Kneel or stand.
You're gonna upset.
And I
our-
don't
our
need you to
listeners.
answer it right now. It's
Okay.
it's a tough question.
It
I
is.
don't
You know,
wanna
but again,
continue
it's part of the news, and we're doing it.
It is part of the news.
We're doing it.
I'm just
Nitro
trying to
question
sell
doesn't
real
have to be
estate
about real
here.
estate.
I'm trying to showcase
She's gonna answer.
myself as
She's
a
gonna be fine.
professional.
We're gonna come back in 20 minutes or so. Think about it, mull it over, chew on it, swallow that a little bit, and then we'll get an answer from you about whether or not you kneel or stand during the national anthem. That's a tough one. So
I
Got
should,
it.
people are
maybe I
curious.
should have stayed home today.
Maybe
Moving
you
on.
should have stayed
I should've
home a
stayed
lot of weeks that we've done this show. Ratings seem to go up when you're not around, Karla. Moving on, we got number 1. Keep your money tight and make sure that you can prove that you're worth this transaction and you have this covered when it comes to the financing. Number 2,
Go see properties.
Karla and her extensions. Your extensions of what was it? Number
My
two.
hair extensions?
No.
I do want a hair extensions though.
Number two.
Number two is the longer the property's been on the market, probably the better deal. That's a good way to save.
To
every-
Understand the analytics of an area. Find out what's the average time of market, and if it's 14 days and the property's been on the market for 34 days, right? That's the one that you should go negotiate because
They're
you can
nervous.
lowball them.
Right.
Okay, it was number 3. Are you ready for number 3?
I don't know, man. We got 40 more minutes left of the show, or at least 20, I should say.
The best deals. I want to say the best deals also for those buyers who are looking for a good deal. Estate sales, right? Estate sales are people who are motivated. There's zero balance on the mortgage, so there's a lot of room for negotiations because at the end of the day is the difference between what the seller wants to yield and what you as a buyer are willing to pay for that product. And of course, if you're again in fourth quarter and that property was on the market during the summer months and people were looking for more turnkey products, maybe the estate sale has that, green carpet, pink bathrooms, and you're willing to do a little work and build some sweat equity. I mean, I know that that's kind of a bad word, bad term for you guys nowadays. No one wants to do any sweat equity, but there's seriously some good deals out there. I've recently recommended to my clients to look at something that was rehabbed. For example, right, if we're looking at a neighborhood where a rehab product is going to be about $475, $550, I would say go look at those properties and then go look at something that's the lowest price in that marketplace. And if it's the same floor plan, it's going to give you an idea of what you can do after you renovated and you do it yourself. Maybe you'll spend $20,000 to $50,000 out of your own money, or you could do a $203K loan, renovation loan, and then you'll have the same property and find yourself a really good deal. I mean, I found that
How do
to
you
be
find estate sales?
estate sales.
Yeah.
It's the same search as you would with any conventional deal. Like you just, and then when you're looking through the pictures, you'll know that's the estate sale, right? Because they'll have the pink bathrooms in some of the areas.
I thought it was your house.
The pink bathtub.
The pink bathtubs, the black toilets, like at your place, Al Pacino styled out.
What's the matter? What's the matter with you?
I mean,
You
Nick's
need
home
people like
is
me.
still like all chrome and
Gold.
Gold.
So
I
is
have
Mimi's.
gold.
So is Mimi's.
It is.
I thought you were gonna throw.
bling bling.
I thought you were gonna throw something else out. I would have guessed. I'm not a
What?
realtor, but I would assume, and I think we did a show similar to this once before, that the time of year.
Yes,
aren't
for
sellers
sure.
nervous? Like the one way to get the best prices, buying during this time of year that we're in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
no,
fourth
no,
quarter.
that's
when
not-
there's
that's
snow
not what
on
you
the
said.
ground,
That's
you're
what I
like
was
golden,
saying.
right?
Oh, it was an
Do you see
extension
what
of.
happens when he doesn't listen to anything I say? He just
Well-
wants to say I'm wrong all the time.
Well, extension.
No.
One had 5 extensions. I'm sorry, I missed
But
it.
we're talking about now where like holidays come, like nobody's showing their houses during Thanksgiving and Christmas. So now's the time.
Are your sellers nervous when it turns into fall and winter market? You guys have listings, and if you have a property still sitting there, and it's like now
You
going into
slash
December,
prices.
don't they get
Yeah,
nervous?
I don't think sitting on the market is not good either, right? Because that means you either have a stubborn seller who doesn't know the true price of
We
his
don't
property.
talk bad about our clients on the show. Mimi.
Or no, but I'm saying. Okay, Karla, how about you rephrase it then? Right? Let's go in Karla
be
lands.
nice.
No, but seriously,
rainbows and unicorns.
if a property's sitting on the market, it has a lot to do with price.
It does. It does have a lot to do with pricing, and you're right. I'm just being silly. Fourth quarter is definitely the best time, right? Because sellers are getting, kind of motivated to sell. I mean, I did have a situation where we had a really, really good offer, and I was just right the $800,000 deal.
Yeah.
It's listed at $875. We got a really, really competitive offer, and my client said no. And usually, guys, your first offer is
Should've
the best
taken it.
offer.
Yes.
And now it's 30 days for sale, and we got 3 offers on that property, and now we were like, oh, let's call back buyer number 1, and buyer number 1 is already under contract. So people are going to start slashing prices, maybe doing a 2 to 3% price reduction, or as I call it, adjustment based on what the market has said about the value of your property.
Right. And then the value changes, right, throughout the months. Come summer, spring, fall, winter.
Of course, I mean, I
values
always
changes.
think, once you come back, it's spring market after the Super Bowl. I mean, but you know what? Market has changed, though. There are some products like a 2 flat. You can't even, you have to be inventory specific, because when you're talking about a condo and single family, like the single family, it's kind of cyclical with the school year, right? So moms have
sure.
already bought in July, August.
Yeah.
So you can get a good deal. That's what I'm saying. If you saw a flip, go ahead and write an offer, even if it's 50 above your price point, because you may be able to negotiate a good deal. Condos are pretty, like all year long, because people are relocating, and it's kind of that fast, mobile, like kind of product where buyers are buying all the time. But then you have the multi-unit. Everybody's looking for a multi-unit. I can't, keep a multi-unit on the market unless, of course, you're above that 500 price point. It seems to be kind of stagnant for the most part. But again, it depends on what market you're working on. Nick, did I lose you?
Nope.
Where are you?
The best deals I've ever found were in the winter for me. So,
Right.
I've done a couple of projects. So I've purchased stuff that sat on the market for 60 plus days. So the best deals are in the winter. So take advantage of that.
You're one of those cash buyers, right? So you're buying properties that you're going to buy so you can fix and then you can flip and bring on the market during the summer, spring market.
You got
so
that much cash?
A little bit.
Oh.
Can I borrow some?
We need to talk.
Because Nick's not
Gamble.
giving me any more loans.
I got no more cash. I'm working on coupons right about now.
He's a
Enough about
coupon
your
cutter.
personal life. No, but seriously, fourth quarter is the best time. And remember, even though there's cash buyers, it's not like the cash buyers that we had before that were outbidding and taking people who are using loans out of the market, because you guys are looking for really amazing deals. And if you don't have you have strict profitability margins, and if you don't meet those, then you're gonna step out. You're not even gonna compete for that one property, right? So don't be afraid. You're not competing with cash buyers anymore. Why are you shaking your head?
Mm-mm.
You're not even listening to me. We're still going on. Oh, my God.
I'm listening. I'm just shaking my head.
Okay, let me just carry the show by myself. All the cameras this way. I got to
That's
compete
what
with
she
the
wants
diva.
Can
anyways,
we
right?
just
That's
rehash
what she
one
wants anyways.
Can we rehash 1 and 2 before we get to 3?
Go ahead, rehash.
Rehash.
No, you do it.
No, you do it. You've been listening.
Mm-mm.
You've been listening to Market Overdrive. If you have any questions for Nick and I, please call us or email us at info@marketoverdrive.com. Is that okay with you, Nico? Where is he? Is he watching?
What was number one?
Pre-approval. Got to work with the best lenders to make sure your approval is
Your
solid.
approval's got to be hard, right?
Wow, what if we did that
Solid.
every time it was about real estate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So-
number two was?
You have feelings?
I don't have feelings. I just know how to pay someone back.
I don't
I
care.
know. I got to learn that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Can you teach me?
Wait,
Anything.
no inside jokes, you guys. Whatever is going on. Do you notice something? We're like, do you want to do our own show?
It's always
We
been like
always
this.
we always clown together when we did shows together. She
Right.
sat next to me at every show.
Right.
I'm over this moment. I'm not feeling loved.
Number 1
Okay.
was financing. Make sure it's in line or proof of funds. That's how you get every little last
And make
red
sure
nickel
you're a
out of the
strong
deal.
buyer,
Saved
right?
right. Make
Right.
sure. Number 2 is scope out the houses that have been lingering around a little longer. You're probably gonna get a better deal on those than you would on something that's been listed for 1 day and is in pristine condition.
Correct.
Right. Number 3. I'm not a realtor. I'm just the guy that finances the property. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen to what one of you two has to tell me about what number 3 is.
We already did number 3.
We did number 3? There was a number 3?
I didn't hear number 3.
I didn't even pay attention to your number 3.
I think I said estate sales and also like
Yes.
the flip.
You said that was an extension of number 2.
Maybe go ahead and take the number 3.
Okay, so
then.
Did she
number
not?
3.
Give her number 3. Take it, memes.
Number 3, like I said, holidays are coming. The
Buy during
snow's
off
on the
time.
ground.
And by the way, the only reason
Yeah.
I'm jealous of this relationship because you're my girl. I love
I
you.
love you, Karla.
Oh my God.
I love you
Okay,
all.
can we get off the sideshow?
Sorry. Okay.
So number 3 said holiday season or time when people aren't looking is the best time for you to go shopping.
Right. If you're the only buyer looking, guess what? They're like, nobody's come to our house. Nobody's seen our house. Nobody's coming to our open houses. And, there's not many people looking at that time, especially where I'm from. We're all like school heavy, right? So that works.
So number 3 is just stay on the
lost our
market.
connection.
Don't get discouraged. And there was a lot of people who didn't find something during the summer markets, and they're kind of bummed, right? Maybe they've been shopping, and you got into bidding wars, and you were one of the ones who didn't want to pay a premium for that specific product. So you stuck along, and I think it's a great time to buy and just stay true to your budget. And, now we're going to see some motivated sellers because they're going to be tired with showing properties during the holiday months. I agree with you. What do you think about that, Graco?
I'm sorry, you lost me there.
That's the problem with you guys are all. I'm not even going to say what you are because I'm going to insult people. But
Well, look, when you are dealing, to touch on what Mimi just said. When
okay,
you are
rule
dealing,
number 1: get rid of all your phones. Like seriously, all the phones off.
I had our producer send me a message, so I had to,
And we
respond.
are we're also answering questions on our phone while the show is going
Yes.
on. Just
Right.
so you know.
Carla. Well, she doesn't have any fans, so
Right.
she's not answering.
Our phone's blowing
But
up.
All of our fans
Hey
on
man,
social media,
love your
thank you
show
for
today.
watching.
You're doing a great job. Is she really wearing a pink suit again, Nick? Yes, she is. I'm sorry.
How do
This
we
is
get
not
fans?
okay.
Okay.
So this is peach. Last week was pink.
That's
If you
salmon.
pay
Whatever you wanna
attention
call
to
it.
Actually
anything that
salmon.
goes on.
Pink, salmon, whatever you want
That's
to call
salmon, honey.
it. Salmon.
Oh, now she knows how to speak Spanish.
All right.
I'm done with you guys. I'm
Which
leaving.
brings us back to the answer of the Nitro question. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been 15 minutes, and we usually give you guys 15 minutes to come up with the answer to your Nitro question. So the question again, in lieu of the recent events going on and the popularity with the president, the flag, the national anthem, the whole 9 yards, the question to Mimi was, do you stand or do you kneel?
Okay, so it's in lieu of what's new in the market, right?
It's a personal question
No,
to our
wait.
guest.
Okay, so I stand, but I do respect the people who kneel, and I understand it.
And there you have it. The Nitro question answered by
clean and
Mimi Luna.
PC.
And a tough question answered in a very good PC way.
That's why I love you, because you're strong and you stand tall in the hardest of the moments.
And
Or is
Carla
that
was
word?
worried about this question. I
I'm
bet.
sure
she
Carla
probably
was
was
worried.
scared out of her mind when it
She
came out
had
of my
no
mouth.
faith in me.
I had faith in you.
No, I had faith in you. I just don't have faith in him. There's a difference.
I
want
didn't have
you
to answer
know
the question.
that. What would you do, Nick?
Let's not get into that.
I'm actually with Mimi on that one.
Graco?
I'm not gonna answer that.
Graco.
What?
You're a bitch. You're a little bitch.
Wait, we can swear?
Answer it.
No, no,
Oh.
Mimi.
We don't have enough time.
You're such
We
a
don't have-
wussy.
All right, let's keep this professional because we are in a professional
We
studio
are.
with a professional family, WGN. We're going to get kicked out again from another
So?
station.
So,
But it's a party today. It's a celebration.
It's a
So?
celebration. What are we celebrating, Craig?
Craig.
Wait a minute. This is
No.
our Halloween show.
Our Halloween show.
Right?
That's right. And I
Yeah.
came dressed as a baseball player. And Carla came
Carla's a
dressed as a
fish.
salmon fish.
This is
Why
our
are you
Halloween
laughing,
show.
DC? You know what? I don't appreciate it. That's so rude. You know that's called bullying? Like,
Oh God.
Is this a size thing? Because I'm bigger than you by a lot.
By a lot.
By a lot.
It's a by a lot.
All right, let's move on. We got number one, your funds in order.
Yes.
And a rock solid pre-approval or a rock solid or even an approval in some cases you could have.
Rock solid everything,
or
right?
money,
Your rock solid
cash.
agent,
this show
lender.
sucks.
Number
I'm telling you
two.
right now, Mimi,
the
this
best show ever.
I want you to do a do-over because this is so rude, and I think like the worst thing for me to come out.
Her feelings are hurt.
You call me a
You say
salmon.
sorry.
You're a little fishy, girl.
You're so cute. Like I really.
No wonder it did smell fishy in here today.
Now you're taking it to a whole nother unprofessional
You're a whole
level.
fish walking around.
Graco,
All
can
right,
you
go
say
ahead,
something?
Nemo. Take it away, Nemo. What's up?
It is our Halloween show.
Funny thing, everybody's laughing.
Come on, we got number one and
No,
number
I'm
two.
leaving this.
Give me
Wait.
the third. What's the third one? Let's go.
No.
On Thursdays, we wear pink.
Things to say,
On
you guys
Thursdays,
suck.
we wear pink. It's okay.
That's fine. It is October. Breast
It is
cancer.
October, breast cancer month.
aware, which we didn't
Uh-oh.
touch.
You don't want to touch that.
Don't touch the boobies.
Don't touch the. Well, I mean, it's an. Okay.
Touch the boobies, though, Meme. Seriously, because I think that's one of the reasons why you were
It's
MIA
an
for a
amazing
little
story, and for us. And how did you even not mention that in your like?
bit. Intro.
Yeah, before we go up to our number 3B, secret of how to save money.
23B.
How did you not mention probably one of the biggest accomplishments of your life? Actually, the biggest accomplishment next to
If you make her cry, I'm gonna beat
three
you.
amazing kids. It's true.
I'm not gonna cry.
She's not gonna cry.
All right, girlfriend.
It is
you.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
I'm strong.
I know you are.
Strong J.
Strong
No.
J.
Baby.
So I beat breast cancer. Yay.
Love you.
Yes.
Seriously though, it's a very difficult career, right, that we do because it's not just a profession or a career. We're entrepreneurs and we have to keep the doors open.
And we can't give up and we can't stop because this is our livelihood and this is what we do, right? I
Yep.
mean,
You were selling houses in the
I
middle
was
of
selling
treatment.
houses.
And I remember this, and I thought
the
you were
matter of
crazy
chemo.
as. I thought you were the craziest son of a gun in the world. I'm like, this one is selling houses. She was doing showings
I was doing showings
Yeah.
and throwing up on the side, but I was all good.
with your chemo bag floating behind you, and you're like, I got this one. This is the
No,
cheap
and
deal.
wait, and then I'd call you guys and I'd be like, I can't do
I
it.
can't do-
Well,
but you're on Facebook talking about how you're so tough.
Right.
But Mimi, a lot of people
I'm strong.
who are going through this or may have similar stories as you, right? Let's go back to the fact that, real estate is very demanding. And sometimes at the end of the day, we're customer service representatives. Just,
Right.
we're called brokers or realtors, but we're customer, service representatives. If a client calls you and you're like, oh, I'm making dinner, I'm doing homework with my kid, they're still like, yes, but did you know that person didn't show up on time and blah, blah, blah. It's always about the transaction.
And I feel honestly like my customers, my clients, kind of saved my life, right? It kept me busy, kept me focused. And I was a true believer that God wanted me to, you know, ride this thing out and kill it.
And that you did.
And
that
be
you
here
did.
to
Right.
torment us for a long time.
Yeah.
And I believe that too.
Because we were still going live from our other show, our other station, and I remember getting the call from her. And you said that you were shopping for bathing suits, right, with your daughter?
Right.
And then you felt something.
No, she got a bathing suit.
Okay.
And we were like, you can't wear that bathing suit. So I tried it on, and I was like, man.
Look at me.
Yeah. And I
can't wear
like
it.
grabbed myself, and I was
Bam.
like, that felt kind of weird. So.
Yeah. So it was a fluke thing that you
It was
found out.
and that's why I felt like God wanted me to find this. So
Yep.
he wants me to live. So I was just a true believer in that.
And
And I
agree.
worked my ass off all by myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh. We're like,
Okay.
okay, no talk
Uh,
about
No, I'm not talking about lender way. I'm saying I worked my I didn't have a team. I didn't have anything.
You
It
were
was just me.
teamless.
I
but
was
you had-
teamless,
you
but
had a-
I
you
had
had- you
full
had a-
support from
yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
from
Your
everybody.
family, your
My
kids
family,
were strong in the whole
yes.
9 yards.
The funny
everybody
thing
was
is,
strong.
I didn't even tell my boys I had breast cancer. They
Oh,
just
wow.
saw Mama doing what
Weird
she
things.
does, right?
Yeah.
Because when Mama's sick, everybody
Gets
feels
really
it,
sad,
right?
right?
So I didn't do that. I stayed strong.
And then your family or your daughter didn't realize, you know, the extent of the disease per se until she came home one day and you had undergone chemo, and that's when you lost your hair.
Yes.
And so I think that was the hardest part, right?
Yeah, it was. But I had a fabulous wig.
I love it. And that's great, right? Because you keep your spirits and you're so strong. And I remember calling you and I was like, gosh, we're both going through such traumatic things. But I really do think that, you know, you were strong during that process. And gosh, that was so difficult.
Some may say too strong, right?
No, there's
'Cause
never
that-
too strong.
No, because then people don't respect what you went through.
But that's because we know the outcome. But see, that's the other thing, though, you have to keep in mind, because the people who don't respect what you went through are the people who are on the outside looking in. But your circle, and like we've been with you as a family for a long time.
I would have done the same thing you did. I would have tried to
were
work right
there
through
for
it.
you.
Because you can't sit in the house and think about it all day
You
long.
can't.
You'd probably go
You
crazy.
can't.
So
You would.
yeah. So
And
I
then
I
you
agree with the
gotta
way
you
did
gotta
it.
hustle for your family, right?
Yep.
You gotta keep the standards where they're at.
What's your new outlook in life now that you've undergone this?
Huh.
Say it. I mean, I think that you as a
My
leader.
my new is YOLO. Not to be confused with yodeling or YOLOing. It's like
You only live once?
you only live once. You got to do it.
Got to do it. Don't,
Right.
you know, at the end of the day, we're only here
But-
temporarily.
But
Everybody
I have to
forgets that.
say, family was like huge for me, right? Like,
Of course.
that's number one.
I think that everybody should stay true to who they are, and at the end of the day, all we have really is family and those
We do.
people that
That's
love
all we
you,
have.
and that's when you know who your true friends are. The people who stick through and help you and see you at your lowest, and they still don't criticize you. They still hang out with you. They still, you know, stand along you,
Yeah.
despite the fact that maybe inside you're going through something that's so dark and so painful.
Right.
Um,
Although Nick was like, you need to be blonde again.
Nick's always.
you can be any color you want except for red. I'm not a fan of redheads, just me personally. So, yeah. But we do have to finish up a show, and
Yes,
we have to
let's
get
do
to back to those three things. I'm gonna throw a fourth one in there.
Well, actually, Nick, can I detour this because we
Yeah.
do have, you know, the segment that's newsworthy because we have a news reporter on our show nowadays.
Oh.
Yeah, and he is called, what's your name again?
Graco.
Okay, that's your name.
Oh.
So Graco has a tidbit because typically we talk about what's going on in the market, how are we handling, how we can get you the best deal on a purchase. But Graco, you're going to touch on something that's more newsworthy.
The Market Overdrive Minute is what we're going to be calling it,
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, we got a name for it.
or the Mod Minute.
Oh.
Stop. I
look
know
at
where you're
that.
going.
Good job. You get to put in a whole minute.
Just to try to.
Again.
The mod minute.
I'm just
Go
going to
ahead.
touch on a couple of things really quick because there's a lot of things happening in the market. And thank you for sharing that with us, by the way, Mimi. That was
Thank
great. All right. So Chicago has a new developer coming into town, potentially a new proposal. 76
Again, another
story.
development.
Well, 76 stories. Holy Name Tower is the name of the design. It's going to be at the corner of Chicago and State. It hasn't been approved by the city, but it is a sexy, beautiful project. Lovely. And it's going to mimic the John Hancock
Really?
with proximity. Yeah. So pretty cool development there. And then one other thing that I wanted to touch on really quick, because I know we're running out of time, is new home sales surged almost 19%. We're at 18.9 in September, to the highest levels in 10 years. And I know we had a kind of stumped market in August. It fell by 3.4%. I know putting Karla to sleep, but new construction is on the rise. So that's very promising in a market where we don't have inventory. So all you builders out there, please start building some more affordable homes because we need new inventory.
What's affordable?
And
2.5, 250,
That's
280,000.
That's true, though. Anything under 400.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Graco Funes for lasting a whole minute.
Thank you, Greco.
I lasted a whole
I-
minute.
I have a super
Good
sexy
job.
property coming on
Yeah, where
in
at?
Oak Lawn. Vaulted ceilings, super sexy.
Thank you, Mimi.
Newly
Thank you for
renovated?
bringing it back
Newly
to real
renovated.
estate between
Yes.
these two. I don't know what's happening today. It's like really
Can
awkward.
we rehash the 1, 2, and 3? Because I want to give a number 4.
You have a number 4?
I do.
Shut
I
up.
think it's important.
Okay.
So you have all these things lined up, right?
Right.
You have the financing lined up. You
Yes.
found the perfect property that might be really negotiable because it's been lingering around for a little while, or you found it in a estate sale, and it is now the month of December, January, what they call, I guess, dog months in the real estate market, right?
Right.
Find yourself a really good shark agent that can negotiate, because that's the missing link.
Wasn't that my number 1?
Oh my God.
Wasn't that my number 1, though? I swear.
How many 1s and 2s do you have?
Nick, that's what I said. It doesn't matter. It's not about the
You can't put 5 into one topic. I'm sorry. You said 1, or your number 1 or 2 was whatever it was. It was.
I'm watching you. On
I
the
was
screen
number
and
1,
you don't-
anyways,
you're-
to get it right.
All right, cool.
Did you really throw 4 solutions into one and call it one?
But you didn't listen to what I said at the
Because it
beginning.
was an hour long.
Thank you
Your
for
jacket was
watching Market
blinding him.
Overdrive. If you have any questions for Nick and I, or you have a topic or have a question about real estate, you can definitely reach us at info@marketoverdrive.com. Nick, it's time to do our closeout.
It is that time. We want to
We
thank
never
Mimi.
heard the song, though.
We want to thank.
Yeah,
it's
we gotta
too late.
play
We're
the
not gonna-
song.
I don't think we're gonna hear it today.
No.
But we want to thank. We want to thank Mimi Luna of Lux Group at Coldwell Banker
Yes.
in LaGrange, and of course, the entire Coldwell Banker family. Since both of you guys are with them, Graco Funes of iLoan. You will be able to find this show and all other Market Overdrive shows at our podcast. Go to our podcast, subscribe. We don't even know how many subscribers we have at this point. But you go to
They're
WGN.
all your fans.
We go to WGN Radio. Well, I actually just go to Facebook and see all the old shows. Or
YouTube.
you go to YouTube, or you can go to Twitter, or you can always go to our website and see more stuff on us. So we're everywhere for you to find. And if you have questions or concerns, or you want to get a hold of us, just go ahead and email us at info@marketoverdrive. Other than that, this is Thursday. It is now 2:40, and we will be back 6 days, 23 hours, and 20 minutes from
That
now
was the longest closing
at 2
ever.
p.m. next Thursday.
Welcome back, Mimi.
Yeah.
Thanks, Memes. We'll see
Glad
you.
to be back.
Glad to have you, baby. That's it, right?
That's a wrap.